Atya Vidadharanakai Parantam. Vai Pishtaporu Bhayahasana Shingarupam. Pitva Brahmad Purutiti Danshukarala Bhaktram. Daityendra Kadaya Vipatantamara. Purani Pacha Vidadar Nikai Spurantam. Traipista Oru Bhayaha Sanrasimha Rupam. Kritva Brukuti Damstra Karala Vaktram. Daityam Ashugadaya Bhipatantam Arat. Nipatya Vidadharanakai Spurantam. Pishtaporu Bhayahasana Singharupam. Kritva Brahmad Brukuti Dangstra Karala Vaktram. Daityendram Ashugadaya Pipatantam Arad. Uro Nipatya Vidadharanakai Spurantam.
Jai Pishtaporu Bharyaha Sanarsinharupam. Kritva Brahmad Brukuti Dangshakarala Vaktram. Daityendраmashu Gadaya Vipanantamarad. Uro Nipatya Vidadhara Nikai Spurantam.
Traipishtaparu Bhayahasana Singharupam. Kritva Brahmad Brukti Damstrat Karla Vakram. Daitendram Ashu Kadaya Bipatatam Arad. Puraunipatya Vidadara Nakai Spurantam. Jai Pishtapur Bhayahasana Simharupam.
Jai Pishtaporu Bhayahasana Singharupam.
Kritva Brahman Prakuti Damshakarala Vaktram.
Kritva Brahman Didamsta
Daityendriyam Ashugadad Kedayabi Patanam Tamara. Uro Nipatya Vidadana Nakai Spurantam. Jai Pishtapo Bhayahasana Shingarupam. Kritva Brahma Brukutidangstra Karala Vaktram. Daitindramashu Gadaya Vipatantam Arad. Puro Nepatya Vidadara Nakaspurantam.
Jai Pishta Puru Vayahasana Shingarupam Ritva Brahmad Brukuti Dangstra Karala Vaktram Daityendra Mashugadaya Vipatantamara Puro Nipatya Vidadara Nakaispuntam
Jai Pishta Puru Jai Pishta Puru Bhayaha Nrsimha Rupam Kritva Brahman Bhurukuti Damstra Karala Vaktram Daitindram Ashu Kadaya Bhipatantamara Urau Nipatya Vidadara Nakaispuntam
Jai Pishta Puru Vayahasana Shingarupam Kritva Brahmad Bhukutidam Stakarala Vaktram Daityendramashidharaya Vipatantam Arad Puro Nipat Aranikai Spuram
Jai Vishtapa, the demigods, Rubayaha, the one who vanquishes great fears, saw he, the personality of Godhead, Nasima Rupam, assuming the incarnation Nasrima, Ridva, doing so, Brahma, by rolling, Brukuti, eyebrows, drumstra, teeth, Karala, greatly fearful, Vaktram, mouth, Daitra Indram, the king of the demons, Ashu, immediately, Gadaya, with club in hand, Adipatantam, while falling down, Arat, nearby, Aru, on the thighs, Nipatya, placing on, Vidyadara, pierced, Nakai, by the nails, Sparantam, while challenging. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada. The personality of Godhead assumed the incarnation of Nrsimha Deva in order to vanquish the great fears of the demigods. He killed the king of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, who challenged the Lord with a club in his hand by placing the demon on his thighs and piercing him with his nails, rolling his eyebrows in anger and showing his fearful teeth and mouth. Report. The history of Hiranyakashipu and his great devotee son, Prahlad Maharaj, is narrated in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Hiranyakashipu became very powerful by material achievements and taught himself to be immortal by the grace of Brahmaji. Brahmaji declined to award him the benediction of immortality because he himself is not an immortal being. But Hiranyakashipu derived Brahmaji's benedictions in a roundabout way, almost equal to becoming an immortal being. Hiranyakashipu was sure that he would not be killed by any man or demigod or by any kind of known weapon, nor would he die in day or night. The Lord, however, assumed the incarnation of half man and half lion, which was beyond the imagination of a materialistic demon like Hiranyakashipu. And thus, keeping pace with the benediction of Brahmaji, the Lord killed him. He killed him on his lap, Jai Shri Shri Gaurnitai, so that he was killed neither on the land, nor on the water, nor in the sky. He was pierced by Nrsimha's nails, which were beyond the human weapons imaginable by Hiranyakashipu. The literal meaning of Hiranyakashipu is one who is after gold and soft bedding, the ultimate aim of all materialistic men. Such demonic men who have no relationship with God gradually become puffed up by material acquisitions and begin to challenge the authority of the Supreme Lord and torture those who are devotees of the Lord. Prahlad Maharaj happened to be the son of Hiranyakashipu, and because he was a great devotee, his father tortured him to the best of his ability. In this extreme situation, the Lord assumed the incarnation of Nrsimha Deva, and just to finish the enemy of the demigods, the Lord killed Hiranyakashipu in a manner which was beyond the demon's imagination. Materialistic plans of godless demons are always frustrated by the all-powerful Lord. Translation again. The personality of Godhead assumed the incarnation of Nrsimha Deva in order to vanquish the great fears of the demigods. He killed the king of the demons, Hiranyakashipu, who challenged the Lord with a club in his hand by placing the demon on his thighs and piercing him with his nails, rolling his eyebrows in anger, and showing his fearful teeth and mouth. Donovan Maharaj, we're anxious to hear your thoughts on Srimad Bhagavatam.
Just comment. Many of these words are quite familiar to us because we study Bhagavad Gita, the 11th chapter. Universal form in these words like Nakai and Gada and Daitya and Karala, Vaktram, Dangstra. These different words describing the fearful mouth and teeth of the universal form also apply to here in the description of Lord Nrsimhadev. So he was also very fearful to the non-devotees.
Thank you very much, Donovan Maharaj. So Prahlad Maharaj was the son of Hiranyakashipu. So sometimes in the demon's family, there are Vaishnavas. Sometimes there are Prahlad Maharaj, Bali Maharaj. Prahlad and Bali, there are authorities. They're among the Mahajans. So there's no bar for anyone to becoming a devotee of the Lord. No matter his material position, he may be born in the lowest family, but still there's no impediment. If one wants to surrender his life to Krishna, there's no impediment in devotional service. The only qualification is one's eagerness to surrender to the lotus feet of Krishna. And in New Vrindavan, there's a great deity of Lord Nrsimhadev, who is manifest by my senior godbrother, Somadas. And this form of Nrsimhadev in New Vrindavan, it was fashioned from West Virginia coal, which was in powdered form. Then the powder was mixed with resin. So from these material elements, Lord Nrsimhadev appeared in New Vrindavan in his eternal transcendental form. And in India, there are many temples of Lord Nrsimhadev, especially in South India. So this form of the Lord is eternal, and he's worshipped in other places in the universe. And in the 5th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in chapter 18, entitled "The Residents of Jambati Offer Prayers," in text number 7, Srila Prabhupada translates, Shukadev Goswami continued, "My dear king, Lord Nrsimhadev resides in the tract of land known as Hari Varsha. In the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, I shall describe to you how Prahlad Maharaj caused the Lord to assume the form of Nrsimhadeva. Prahlad Maharaj, the topmost devotee of the Lord, is a reservoir of all the good qualities of great personalities. His character and activities have delivered all the fallen members of his demoniac family. Lord Nrsimhadeva is very dear to this exalted personality. Thus Prahlad Maharaj, along with his servants and all the denizens of Hari Varsha, worships Lord Nrsimhadev by chanting the following mantra. Report by Srila Prabhupada. Jayadev Goswami's 10 prayers worshipping the incarnation of Lord Krishna, Keshava, contain his name in every stanza. For example, Keshava, Drita, Narahari Rupa, Jaya Jagadish Hare, Keshava Drita Mina Sarira Jaya Jagadish Hare, and Keshava Drita Vamana Rupa Jaya Jagadish Hare. The word Jagadisha refers to the proprietor of all the universes. His original form is the two-handed form of Lord Krishna, standing with a flute in his hands and engaged in tending the cows. As stated in Brahma Samhita, Chintamani Prakra Sadmasu Kapaviksha Laksharvatesha Surbir Abhipalyantam Lakshmi Sahasa Shata Samprama Sevyamanam Govinda Madi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. I worship Govinda, the primeval Lord, the first progenitor, who is tending the cows, yielding all desires, in abodes built with spiritual gems and surrounded by millions of purpose trees. He is always served with great reverence and affection by hundreds and thousands of goddesses of fortune. From this verse, we learn that Govinda, or Krishna, is the Adi Purusha, the original person. The Lord has innumerable incarnations, exactly like the innumerable waves of a flowing river. But the original form is Krishna, or Keshava. Shukadev Goswami refers to Nrsimhadeva because of Prahlad Maharaj. Prahlad Maharaj was put into great distress by his powerful father, the demon Hiranyakashipu. Apparently helpless before him, Prahlad Maharaj called on the Lord, who immediately assumed the gigantic form of Nrsimhadeva, half lion and half man, to kill the gigantic demon. Although Krishna is the original person, one without a second, he assumes different forms just to satisfy his devotees or to execute a specific purpose. Therefore, Jayadev Goswami always repeats the name of Keshava, the original personality of Godhead, in his prayers, describing the Lord's different incarnations for different purposes. Text 8. I offer my respectful obeisances unto Lord Nrsimhadeva, the source of all power. O my Lord, who possesses nails and teeth, just like thunderbolts, kindly vanquish our demon-like desires for fruitive activity in this material world. Please appear in our hearts and drive away our ignorance, so that by your mercy we may become fearless in the struggle for existence in this material world. May there be good fortune throughout the universe, and may all envious persons be pacified. May all living entities become calm by practicing bhakti yoga, for by accepting devotional service, they will think of each other's welfare. Therefore, let us all engage in the service of the Supreme Transcendence, Lord Sri Krishna, and always remain absorbed in thought of him. My dear Lord, we pray that we may never feel attraction for the prison of family life, consisting of home, wife, children, friends, bank balance, relatives, and so on. If we do have some attachment, let it be for devotees, whose only dear friend is Krishna. A person who is actually self-realized and who has controlled his mind is perfectly satisfied with the bare necessities of life. He does not try to gratify his senses. Such a person quickly advances in Krishna consciousness, whereas others who are too attached to material things find advancement very difficult. By associating with persons for whom the Supreme Personality of Godhead Mukunda is the all-in-all, one can hear of his powerful activities and soon come to understand them. The activities of Mukunda are so potent that simply by hearing them, one immediately associates with the Lord. For a person who constantly and very eagerly hears narrations of the Lord's powerful activities, the absolute truth, the personality of Godhead, in the form of sound vibrations, enters within his heart and cleanses it of all contamination. On the other hand, although bathing in the Ganges diminishes bodily contaminations and infections, this process and the process of visiting holy places can cleanse the heart only after a long time. Therefore, who is the sane man who will not associate with devotees to quickly perfect his life? Just as aquatics always desire to remain in the vast mass of water, all conditioned living entities naturally desire to remain in the vast existence of the Supreme Lord. Therefore, if someone very great by material calculations fails to take shelter of the Supreme Soul, but instead becomes attached to material household life, his greatness is like that of a young, low-class couple. One who is too attached to material life loses all good spiritual qualities. Therefore, O demons, give up the so-called happiness of family life and simply take shelter of the lotus feet of Lord Nrsimhadeva, which are the actual shelter of fearlessness. Entanglement and family life is the root cause of material attachment, indefatigable desires, moroseness, anger, despair, fear, and the desire for false prestige, all of us result in the repetition of birth and death. So in the previous age, there was one Hiranyakasipu, but nowadays in the Kali Yuga, there are millions of Hiranyakasipus who are creating disturbances all over this planet. And if I examine myself, I don't have the qualities of Prahlad Maharaj. Rather, my qualities are like that of Hiranyakasipu. So I have much work to do in the matter of self-purification. Are there any comments or questions? Yes, Magadari Prabhu.
These statements about family life seem very strong. So I'm just wondering how to kind of understand that.
Yes, a real family is in the Vaikuntha planets, and this family life in the material world is a perverted reflection of the original family life. And when we go back to the spiritual world, we're enter our real family life with Mother Yasoda and Krishna and all the cowherd boys. So family life is not bad if the center is Krishna. So the Grihastha ashram is not bad. Ashram means a place of spiritual cultivation. But in the material world, most people are not grihastas, rather they're grihametas, they're attached. So the first stage of life is brahmachari, where the student learns non-attachment to this material world and avoiding association with women. But in the Grihastha ashram, association with the opposite sex is allowed under controlled circumstances. And by following the rules and regulations of Grihastha life, the Grihastha is also called brahmachari. And he can also make progress by coming back to Godhead. It's time for the Sankirtan Festival. Thank you for hearing Srimad Bhagavatam. All glorious to His divine grace. A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada.
So we'll read the Sankirtan scores for the week of September 4th for the pleasure of their lordships, Shri Shri Gauranitai, Lord Simhadev, Sampradaya Acharyas, Srila Prabhupada and His Holiness Dhanavir Goswami, and all the assembled devotees. Tulsi Maharani. Okay, so this week we had 5 book distributors. So coming in, okay, I'll just read this one last because I can do the math and read at the same time. Coming in 4th position with 2 small books, 2 medium books, and 2 Maha big books for a total of 3.5 book points. Magadari Prabhu. Right. In 3rd position with 4 medium books, 4 big books for a total of 6 book points. Jai Keshava Prabhu. Jai. Oh, we have burfies for everybody. Shri Shri Garnitai Ki Jai. And in 3rd position with 2 small books, 2 medium books, 2 big books, and 2 Maha big books for a total of 7.5 book points. Jagannath Prabhu. Hare Krishna. And in 1st position with 7 small books, 5 medium books, 5 big books, and 24 Maha big books for a total of 57.25 book points. Rishi Kumar Das. Hare Krishna. And okay, I don't know exactly where this one falls in the mix, but also 28 small books and 3 medium books. Subal Sakya Prabhu. Haribo. Okay, so I'll total them up after this. 8.5 book points. That puts him in 2nd position. Haribo. All right. So a highlight from this week. My highlight was distributing books with Jagannath Prabhu on the Harinam. We were walking around downtown. There was an area with some kind of art clubs, and a guy came by who had a skateboard, and we asked him if he could do any tricks on it. And he said he could, but he had recently broken his ankle. So we tried to give him Prabhupada's books to solve all of his problems forever. And he took a bhakta stack, and he gave a nice donation, and we got his phone number. So hopefully he'll come to the Sunday festival. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai. If you go up there, then you'll be on the video.
So yeah, I got a chance to go out do Sankirtan this week, and it was pretty unexpected. I don't usually approach cashiers, but this lady wasn't busy, so I came into this hardware store, and she was a really nice lady, just a big smile, and there was nobody else around her, so I quickly presented the literature and gave the little summary, and she was smiling and everything. And I asked her when she meditated, and I asked her when she started, and she said that she started after she went sober. And I was like, oh, okay, that's a good idea to do after you give up an addiction. And so it's a pretty short time, but she gave a donation, and she was like really excited. She was saying that yes, this is something that's necessary. So it felt really good for making that contact. Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai.
Hare Krishna. So this was on the Mahaharina with me and Rishi Kumar and the rest of the gang. We were across the street from the Harinam party, and then I saw this guy. He was a black-bodied gentleman, and I went over to him. And I think I told him, because he had dreadlocks, I think I told him that I liked his hair. And he was like, "Well, thanks, man." And we started talking a little bit. I was like, "Yeah, me and my friends were just distributing these books, and we'd really like for you to take some." And I gave him a small book, and he was like, "Yeah, I'll take one." And he pulled out his phone. He said, "I don't have cash, but I have Venmo or Cash App. I have Venmo." And yeah, he gave a really nice donation, and I ended up giving him a bhakti stack because it was more than what it cost to print a small book, so it was really nice, and I really appreciated him. He was a very nice man. Transcendental Book Distribution Key, Jeff.
Hare Krishna. So at the plaza this week on Saturday, we had a nice kirtan going, and it was very motivational to get the books out. So I approached a few people, and one lady had a big crystal on her neck, and I was like, oh, okay, well, maybe she might be into these books. So I waved my hand, and she waved, and then I went over and gave her Science of Self-Realization, and she gave a nice donation. So the other book I had was Nectar of Instruction. So she got some nice instructions from Rupa Goswami. Transcendental Books Distribution, Key.
So I met this gentleman. His name is Marior, and we were walking, or I was walking, and yeah, I waved at him, and he was really excited about it for some reason. And then I just said, "Hey, come on." And so then I passed him the book and, gave him some compliments. And he said that he was really interested in love of God and spreading the message of God and living for God and all that. So I had brought a couple of books with me while I had a walk, and gave him one, and he gave me $1, and it was good. And I invited him to the festival. He didn't have a phone number, but I asked him, and but I did tell him we were going to have a festival. It started at 4 p.m. and we have amazing food like curries and rice and vegetables and fresh bread and all this amazing food. You should definitely come. And then he came. So you got to meet Maharaj, and hopefully we see him today. So if you see him, please encourage him a little bit in his devotional service. Transcendental Distribution Ki Jai.
So the total for this week is 39 small books, 16 medium books, 11 big books, 27 Maha big books, for a total of 82.75 book points. Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai.